Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Gaming Lounge. This is Esfar, your host, and we are going to be doing a voiceover because when I was playing this game, I forgot to plug in my microphone, and none of my audio was captured, which is fine because now I can actually kind of explain a little bit more of the matchups. And so the first game we're going to play is we're going to be these are live games. I did record live, and they did have. I was hoping to do live voiceover on them, but like I said, my mic was all messed up, and these were actually really good games, and I wanted to share these games with you. So this first game was against a Mega Knight bait deck that's using the Bandit and Prince and like Wild Breakers and Bats, and it's a really strong deck. I actually do like this deck right now, especially it does very good against the current meta with all the goblins and graveyards and skeleton kings. So if you guys like Mega Knight, I do recommend you guys to pick up this version of this deck. If you're really good with it, it has really good strong matchups. So against Pekka Bridge Spam, I do believe Mega Knight has the advantage early on, but once it gets to 2 times Elixir, I believe that Pekka Bridge Spam gets the advantage towards the last minute. So and that's one thing about Pekka Bridge Spam is you want to play defensively the first 2 minutes, and then the last minute is when you can play aggressively. Now you can play aggressively throughout the whole game as long as you pick your spots and you play aggressively appropriately. That's the most important thing when you're going to play aggressive. So yeah, so the first game, he's out damaged me right now, but he's doing a lot of split damage. So when he played his queen in the back and his prince in the front, all I have to do is play the Pekka, and the Pekka is gonna clean up the prince. I decided to play the Ewis so that the queen couldn't do its ability, and it worked out just perfectly. And now I could pressure the left hand lane. And he had to use his Mega Knight. So my Battle Ram is going to get some massive damage. It's going to get the connection. I'm going to get the zap. I knew that his bats were in rotation. I was saving the zap for that. His Mega Knight jumps in the air and dies to the ground because it was low on life. So overall, I took control of the game. I do make some small mistakes. The poison was too aggressive with playing the ghost in the opposite lane. That allowed him to play his queen, which forced my Pekka out to defend. Now, the tower had a 3,000 HP, so I technically didn't need to play the Pekka. And that was a mistake, because now I have to kite all his units with my Battle Ram. I have to play the Ewiz, I have to play the Magic Archer, and my Ewiz just completely gets incinerated by the Wallbreaker, so that was a misplay. And good thing the Mega Knight gets the King activation, and good thing that the Prince hit my Ghost and not the tower, and then I was able to play the Ewiz just in time to defend the tower. It has about 400 HP. He has nothing in his deck to claim the tower. So I made some misplays. I made two big misplays that almost cost me on going to overtime. Now, if we would have gone to overtime, I'm pretty sure we would have won. But this guy just got to Ultimate Champion. He's never been Ultimate Champion before. His Legacy best is only 6,300. So as you can see, around 1,500 medals and Ultimate Champion, you're not fighting the greatest competition. You're fighting people who usually end around 6,300 to 6,800 in Legacy. You start fighting people who usually end around 7k and above, over 1,700 medals, is what I've seen. So once you get past 1,700 medals, that's when you're actually fighting pretty good people. But anything under that, you're fighting good / average players. You're fighting people like me, who aren't the greatest and who are good, but they're not consistently good. This is a beautiful zap. I mean, he had like 15 goblins, and like that zap did feel really good. I'd like to get value like that. But this matchup is extremely hard. He's using Skeleton King Mortar deck, and right now we're kind of even on damage, but I have a hard time against this matchup because I have a hard time knowing exactly how to counter the Mortar. It seems like the Mortar will always get 2 to 3 hits on the tower if you don't counter it correctly. And I'm still learning on if it's E-Wiz, Ghost, Magic Archer, depending on the placement. Um, so yeah, I'm still learning. It's just a tough matchup. I win against it maybe 40% of the time. So when I fight against this deck, I usually do lose most of the time. Just because of my playstyle, I like to play aggressively, and I usually don't have a lot of mana to defend his dueling pushes. But I go ahead and I play the E-Wiz, and the E-Wiz is going to lock up the mortar so that he can't really do any damage. But like I said, it always gets at least like 2 to 3 hits, and the mortar goes ahead and gets a hit. He has to use his minor to defend the bandit, and so I kind of lost track of his elixir right here, but luckily 2 times elixir came just in time. He misplayed his hut like 1,000 times. He would put his hut in such a bad position. That zap would have been good because it would get the connection and it would get at least 2 to 3 hits with the barbarian. But since he did his barbearer, he was able to stop my battle ram. Now I do think his deck he should be using the 2 elixir goblins. I think the 2 elixir goblins are better than the barbearer, but the reason why I played Pekka so aggressively because I thought that my magic archer wasn't going to die in 1 hit, but it obviously died in 1 hit. And this is one thing, I wish poison killed goblins faster, because like all those goblins should have died in the poison. Like the Pekka destroys the hut, the poison's still active, and it only gets 1 tick on the goblins. Like, that's just stupid. My magic archer is going to get some decent hits. It's going to get 2 hits on the tower. I can't believe the mortar didn't die. It had like 1 HP left, and it made it so that my battle ram connected to it. And this is my problem with buildings like that. They last too long. Like, I'm sorry, but that mortar should have been dead already. So, but I mean, that it is what it is. Now, there's nothing I could do. I know that I'm gonna lose. The bandit is too weak to finish a tower, so the bandit is just gonna go ahead and die and he's gonna get the fireballs. But overall, for how bad of a matchup it is, I did almost come back. And I almost took back that game when it was a loss. So it's just another testament why you should never give up. You should always try your best, even against tough matchups. So, we're gonna go ahead and go into the 3rd game. And yes, we're gonna fight Skeleton King again. I did fight Skeleton King 3 times back to back. It's not surprising. It's just how it is. It's just what everyone's using as a Bridge Spam player. You fight the same decks over and over. There's no variety anymore when you fight. So I think they just got lazy. That was a bad poison. The poison, I completely missed the goblins. But Supercell just doesn't care. They know that everyone knows that there's an algorithm to matchmaking based on the deck you're using, and they just don't hide it anymore. They just aggressively show it to you. And this is what happens in matchups. That's why there's people who complain about Mega Knight. Like, I rarely fight Mega Knight. Like, I wish I was fighting tons of Mega Knights because I should have matchup against Mega Knights, but I never fight it. And then there's people in my clan who use different decks. They use the OP graveyard deck with the spawner, and they say they fight Mega Knight all the time. So it just shows you that it's not just me. It's like everybody in my clan. You know, I have people who main E-Giant, and they say that all they fight is Pekka. It's like, I never see E-Giant. I see E-Giant maybe once in 20 games. So if he's always seeing Pekka, you know, and I only see E-Giant once in a while, like, come on, like, I never see E-Giant. So it's just very interesting. I wish it was just random, but I don't know. Maybe it's just a conspiracy. Maybe it is random, and we just want an excuse because we're bad players. So maybe that's just what it is. Maybe since we're just bad players, we want an excuse to make us feel better. So, but I mean, even like ranked players are complaining about matchmaking and the meta and whatnot. But I mean, you got people like Nemesis and Legend Gamer who get ranked every time, and as long as you're truly good with the deck, it doesn't matter what the meta is. you can always climb if you're truly a good player. And that's one thing I've just came is I know that I'm a decent player. I know that I'm not truly a good player because if I was, I would be able to get ranked pretty every season, or at least every other season. But yeah, in this matchup, there's nothing you could really do at this point. It's pretty much game over. It's just a horrific matchup. This is, I mean, I'd rather fight this than 2.6 though. It's not as bad as 2.6, honestly. It's up there. It's like I'd rather fight this than 2.6, but 2.6 is just very. It's more annoying because it's a faster cycle. At least this, if the player messes up, you can win. Like the player has to mess up tremendously on 2.6 to win. So I'd rather fight this than 2.6. So it could always be worse, you know. So it is what it is. And then we're gonna go ahead and go to the last game, and we are gonna be fighting yet another Skeleton King deck. And so I play the Bandit in the back right pocket. As you know, I hate leaking elixir. Now I thought he was playing Lava Hound for a while, based off the cards, because there's a lot of Lava Hound decks that use Tombstone, Skeleton King, Phoenix. You know, they kind of look all the same. So that's why I was being aggressive in the Baby Dragon. So I was like, he's playing Lava Hound most likely. And then that's why I played the Pekka, because I thought Lava Hound was gonna, you know, that's the deck I was playing. So once I saw the graveyard, I was like, oh crap, I have to poison, I have to zap. Now luckily the tower was hitting the Baby Dragon, so that when I went to zap, it killed everything, the Baby Dragon, the skeletons, and the Skeleton King was already low. So that was a really good defense for being caught off guard and playing a Pekka. Luckily, he didn't have a lot of mana either, so I was able to poison, and we pretty much had the same elixir. So that's why that defense worked so well. I just got lucky on that defense, because I probably should have lost that tower. My Pekka should have instantly died, you know, because skeletons one-shot Pekka. And so this was another probably bad Pekka play, but I was tracking his elixir, and he was pretty low on elixir as well. So I knew that he couldn't just surprise me with the graveyard. That if he did play graveyard, my Magic Archer was going to be able to defend just fine. And once he plays the poison, I'm like, okay, I'm going to play the Electric Wizard so that the poison doesn't touch it. And I'm going to get a pretty good counter push going on. And he's going to go ahead and play Tombstone, and it's going to completely stop the push. My Bandit is going to get one dash and then die. So that was pretty good chip damage with the Bandit. And so I was happy with that exchange, because I got a lot of his cards out of his cycle. And I have the poison to completely shut down the graveyard. I have my Magic Archer, which he's going to have to do poison. Now I did play the Pekka up because I knew that he didn't have enough mana to play his ability, and that the Pekka was going to kill the Skeleton King, and I'm going to be able to kill his baby Pekka. Now as long as I kill his tanks, he's not going to be able to play an aggressive graveyard without having the proper tank. So I went ahead and did an aggressive poison because I wanted to DPS his Skeleton King. I want to kill it before he can pop his ability. And that's exactly what happens, is the Skeleton King dies before he can pop his ability. Now, I don't have poison to counter his graveyard, but I do have Ewiz. Ewiz does a decent job. The skeletons, depending on the RNG, are going to get some damage, but I go ahead and I play the Magic Archer at the bridge, and he's going to get some really good chip damage. He gets like 5 hits, and the Ewiz is going to do a good job stopping the Skeleton King, and since he's not playing his graveyard, I have to play the Bandit plus the Ghost. And I'm going to cycle my poison, because I know that one little poison zap is going to win the game for me, and he's not being too aggressive with his graveyard, so I could get away with it. Now, the things did get a little scary at the end right here, but I was able to stop his push just fine, He's gonna get a baby dragon tank. I have to play my magic archer. Now the good thing is I have a poison, and all I have to do is zap. I'm pretty sure I win. No, I need one more poison. I'm sorry. Math is hard sometimes. But yeah, so I know that this is where it gets dicey. So I get the poison, and I need 3 ticks. 1, 2, 3, and he gets my tower to 200 HP. This just shows you how crazy skeletons are. If like 5 skeletons get on your tower, they could just completely DPS it down within like 2 seconds. So we were able to get 2 wins and we were able to get 2 loses, which means that we didn't gain any trophies. We stayed even, which I rather stay even than go down in trophies. So overall, I'm happy with those live games. I'm going to try to do more live games once I get the Ultimate Champion so you guys can see my gameplay live instead of watching replays. But overall, I was pretty happy with this season so far. I hope you guys are having a good season as well. I hope that balance changes happen next season because I want to see different decks. And hopefully they buff Pekka Bridge Spam sometime. The Pekka Bridge Spam I feel like it's been dead for a while. But, you know, all we have to do is just keep playing and trying our best, and eventually we will be victorious. But I hope you guys have a good day, and thank you for watching my videos, and keep on clashing.